Gentlemen, what is good? I'm going to make a video about running game on your wife and how to get the sex you want. And that's what the video is going to be about today. This is going to be part one of a series that I'll keep going. I'll label this part one so that you know the next time it comes out, it'll be part two, so on and so forth. I'm going to be talking about getting the sex you want, not necessarily getting the sex you want all of the time. Us guys, if we could, we'd have sex every day. We'd be happy, right? Well, that's not realistic for women, especially wives in relationships. I think a good goal is to be shooting for at least 2 to 3 times per week with your woman. And what that requires is a lot of work outside of the bedroom. All right. So if you're having sex successfully 2 to 3 times a week with your woman, that means that she's enjoying it. Otherwise, she's not going to have sex with you that much, and that her enjoyment of that requires work on your end, and that's what we're going to talk about today. All right. You are going to be running game on your wife for probably, I would imagine, at least a number of, for every time you have sex with your wife, you're going to have to be running game on her for a certain period of time. Maybe, for a day or two in between the sex, maybe even 3 days in between the sex. And we're going to talk about in this video what that requires and what that looks like. I'm going to be talking to you about, I'm going to give you like a true minister that I was trained to be, which I'm not. I'm a minister to you guys, right? But we're going to give you 3 talking points today in this video. What does that mean to run game on your wife, and what does that look like to get the sex that you want? All right. The first step, and remember, what I'm about to give you guys is something that that needs to be a mindset. Okay, something that you need to inherently adopt internally in your brain, right? And it's not to be taking literal, but it's to be something that you kind of exhibit and that you embody. All right. And your first, the first point I wanted to talk about was remaining frame, but that's going to be the second point. The first point I'm going to talk about is this mentality of when you are interacting with your wife, your whole mentality should be, all right, and don't take this literally, but take this as an embodiment of how you are interacting with her. It's either going to be either we are smashing or I'm smashing. Okay, that's point number one. Point number one is the mentality you should have when you approach your wife is either we're going to have sex or I'm going to have sex. What do I mean by that? If you have that mentality, what you're doing is you're portraying this idea that you have other options, and she needs to know that. Okay, so it's like when you're running game on your wife, all right, and we'll talk about what that looks like when you're interacting with her, and you're not getting, and there's going to be times where she says no, okay, and that happens to me, and where she's just tired, and she's not necessarily like, saying no, but it's just not going to happen, right? Or even if you do hint to it, she'll tell you straight up no. And my wife, in my relationship, my marriage, she knows that I'm sexual all the time. I have a very high libido. I've done a lot of work in making sure I do have a high libido at my age, and she knows that at any given time I would have sex with her in a heartbeat. Okay, but I also space it out, and I try to, I'm throwing little nuggets here and there. All right. So the mentality is you have to have is with your wife, it has to be either we're going to have sex or I'm going to have sex, meaning she knows that if she's not having sex with you, that other options are out there. Okay. Does that make sense? You're not going to answer because you're watching a video, but that's the whole point of that mentality. That should be the either we smashing or I'm smashing mentality. And it needs to be that you have to approach it as if it's a privilege for her to be having sex with you because other women want it. And that's a perfectly healthy approach to have. Okay. Now, second point, and there's probably some points here I'm not missing. There's a whole lot of notes I have that I took. there's a lot of points I want to touch on, but kind of get the gist of that. All right. In that whole thing, you're demonstrating pre-selection in your mentality, and that's not ever something that you want to say directly to your wife. You don't ever want to go, "Hey, I have other options." You never want to say that. Let me be clear. You never do. But if you want to demonstrate it in your mannerisms and in how you act. And it's like, if she's not in the mood, it's like you just kind of look at her and go, "What?" I just, I offered you to have sex with me. And in my particular situation, I have a very good sex life with my wife. She is never let down when we have sex. And she's always satisfied. And when I've worked towards that, right, throughout my life, through sexual experience, prior to even meeting my wife, with the plates that I've spun in the past, although I didn't know I was spinning plates, getting good. And sex takes practice for us guys. We're not every single one of us are good at it from day one. It takes work at getting good at that. And so my whole mentality is, when if I get to a point in my marriage where the wifey's tired or doesn't want to have sex, I look at her and I just kind of give her this, "You're really fucking missing out." Because you love it every single time. Every single time. You love it every single time. And that needs to be my mentality. It's either we are smashing or I'm smashing. And guess what? If I'm smashing and you're not, some other girl's getting that satisfaction. And that needs to be I'm not saying cheat on your wife. I'm saying have that mentality. Okay? For the record, I'm not saying cheat on your wife. I'm saying have that mentality. Okay? All right, so point number 2. And this is, I already said at the beginning. You have to remain frame. Okay? You have to remain your frame. Now, your wife needs to know that you have options, as I said. And this is coming straight out of the Rollo Tomasi book, which is back up in here. Got a bunch. I've read all 4 of them. Fantastic books. I recommend you watch Rollo Tomasi's YouTube channel, read his books, buy his books. This is no lie. I kind of, when I found the red pill, I realized I was like 80% there, and 20% was these red pill guys being like, "Oh yeah," and realizing, holy shit, dude, my life corresponds with this stuff, and it makes complete sense. So I recommend you go check out Rollo Tomasi. You probably already know who he is. You'll know him before you know me at all. I'm still the only one who watches my YouTube channels at this point. Cool. But you have to remain frame. And my frame, and I've talked about this in my other videos, is when my wife and I met, she was in her mid to late 20s. I was a bouncer at a bar here in Pittsburgh. It was one of the premier bars. And her first words to me was, "Oh my God, you're so cute. Do you have a girlfriend?" Right? To which I said, "Of course." I had multiple girlfriends. I had, but I didn't tell her that. And my wife has been crazy about me since day one. So that's my frame. And when we met years ago, it was back in 2012, she was one of the girls that I had spinning for a little bit, but she was also in her late 20s, and I knew enough about girls in their late 20s that they wanted commitment. And so I was sticking mostly with girls in their early 20s. Vast majority of women I was messing with are in their early 20s because they weren't saying the shit that these girls in their late 20s were saying. And if you watch Rollo Tomasi, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That's when they start hitting the epiphany phase, where they start hitting 27, 28. That's the epiphany phase. When they're 23, they don't care. They just want to bang you because you're hot, and or because you can spit game, or because you're fun, or because you're funny. It could be a number of reasons, right? And for me, being a bouncer, it was like, all right, it was beneficial. I was being a bouncer, and I've talked about this in other videos. Being a bouncer is kind of like a celebrity status, or working at a bar or being a bartender. It's like a celebrity. It's a minor celebrity status, but it's a celebrity status nonetheless, where all the pre-selection, all the approach, all that stuff when it comes to working game with women, it's all kind of built in for you. You don't have to approach women, they approach you. Right? You don't have to You don't have to worry about getting drunk because you can't drink. Well, you can if you're a bartender, but you can't get too sloppy, right? As a bouncer, you can't drink at all. And all the guys, all the guys who are getting laid, they want to know you, right? So you know those guys, and so those women associate you with those guys. All types of things, but your woman needs to know that you have options, and that's part of maintaining frame. And so for me, maintaining that frame is I continue to be the bouncer. And for example, the reason why I came up with this video today was because I had a day where I was, having to deal with some stuff with my wife. She was struggling today and this and that, and I had to remind her that of who I was. And so one of the things I do, one of my tactics is I put on a black t-shirt and I wear a pair of jeans. Right. Why? I also, by the way, have very similar haircut to when I was in my 30s or when we met. But why do I do that? Right. I actually am in better shape than when she met me and when I was in my early 30s. Why? Well, because this is very similar looking to the outfit that I wore when we met. Right? It's true. Yeah, this is an outfit that very similar looking to me when I was bouncing that first day. So I'll do that as a way of running game on my wife. All right? And hold on, let me check this out here. Yeah. That's just one of the ways that I run game on my wife. When she starts doing shit tests, when she starts talking about this or that, or she's stressed out, yada, 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 I give her a little bit of the reminder of what it was like when we were the first month or two that we were hanging out and having fun and, just fucking and chilling and having a great old time. I do my best to stay like that guy, okay? The other thing about remaining frame is you're going to have to work out. You have to work out. Okay? There's no two ways around it. I mean, a lot of you guys, you get married and you think, I can relax. You married fuckers especially need to work out. You have to. I mean, you have to understand, and I'm going to talk about, hardware, firmware, software, which is in Rollo's new book, Hardware, Firmware, Software. Your woman is always going to look at your physique as an importance, and she's not going to tell you this, but you have to work out, okay? That's a part of maintaining frame. If you landed your wife and you were out of shape, good for you. You want to keep her? Get in shape. I promise you, it's going to help you to your benefit, okay? The other thing, too, is in regards to your woman knowing that you have options, it's okay to flirt with other women, okay? And I'm talking to Christian men in particular here, and that's my kind of goal, is to talk with Christian men who are married and who are in marriages. My frame was I was the hot bouncer guy that we had sex with, that my wife had sex with in her 20s, and she followed me, for years on end. She paid attention to me, and then when I was single again, what had happened was I was in a relationship, but it was a non-exclusive relationship, okay? And then when that kind of broke off, I kind of, being involved in the church, or at least having that church background, I always wanted to give the image that I was exclusive in a relationship, monogamous. But I've, in my 40 years on planet Earth, very few of the years have I actually been monogamous. With my wife, we've been together for over 4 years. I've been monogamous with her. And I've been happily monogamous because I'm getting the results I want. I get the sex I want. She's hot. She works out a ton. And one day I'll talk about the list that I put together for what I required with a woman. The circumstances required for my wife and I to be together, or the fact that we have a successful marriage, is a very small percentage of what happens with most people. And it was very deliberate on my part to come up with that list and say, this is what I want. It's a 20 list. It's a list of 20 things that I wanted. Boom, 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 boom. And I said, I'm going to vet women. In order for me to ever actually have a successful marriage or to even be in a marriage again, I'm going to thoroughly vet. And I did, and my wife actually passed all of them. And maybe one day I'll talk about that. I'm sure I've talked about that in other videos, at least a certain part of it. But, yeah, so let's get back to the second point is maintaining frame. You have to, okay? And this means passing shit tests. If she gives you shit tests, you don't budge. Okay, if she says, I need you to help me with dishes. I need you to, watch the kid. I need you to cook more. This and that and that and this. You just look at her and you go, okay, all right. My wife even gives me shit tests with me going to the gym because I've gotten in tremendous shape. She knows that I look good, and she said one day, she goes, I feel like you put the gym in front of the family. And I'm like, in my mind now, because I'm red pilled and I understand these things, like I know that me going to the gym is what's saving our marriage. Okay. Prior to the whole COVID thing happening, I was gaining weight, and then the COVID thing happened, and all of a sudden I started paying attention to things and looking into things. And I think the whole red pill community, the whole Rollo Tomasi, Rich Cooper, all those guys, they all started seeing high people starting to watch their stuff because nobody had anything else to do. And I'm one of these guys. And all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, shit, I was becoming monogamous again. And in my life, when I'm monogamous, right? When I become monogamous, I get fat, and I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to be monogamous, and so this is really the first time in my life, and it's taken me 40 years to figure this out, how to actually be in a marriage, but also maintain your sexy, right? So, yeah. So that second point is important. It could be as equally as important as point one. Point one is either we're smashing or I'm smashing. Have that mentality. Point two is maintain frame, and that means going to the gym. Okay, that means reminding her of who you are or who you were when she first met. And if you're one of these guys who were in the friend zone with your wife and you realized that she married you for your provisionings, which sucks personally, for me, you can very easily become the seductive alpha. That's not a hard thing. That's not an unachievable goal. Becoming the seductive alpha is not an unachievable goal. It requires you working out. It requires you also, do some reading. Read the Rational Male series, obviously. Do some work. Go to the gym. You can do it. I guarantee you can. I've been everything from a blue-pilled beta to a red-pilled, I hate to say it, alpha, but because I just feel like alphas just are. They don't need to say they are. I hate to even say I'm an alpha. I don't know. I'm still a work in progress personally. There's a lot of work that I'm doing, and right now I'm doing a lot of things, making big changes in my personal life. The red pill has taken me not only just to a point where I've gotten in physical shape, but now I'm making big moves in my career. I was working in mental health, which is shit fucking money, and now I'm going into insurance, and I'm very stoked about that. I'm making big changes, taking risks, but there's no high reward without risks, right? So, yeah, all right, that's point number one, is the idea of either we fucking or I'm fucking, or point number two, remain frame, right? That's the whole thing. Go to the gym, understand you have options. If you don't know you have options in women, she's not going to know, okay? All right? Also, it's okay. I just want to touch on this real quick. It's okay to actually flirt with women. And you need to understand this, that I'm not saying cheat on your wife, okay? Excuse me. I'm not saying cheat on your wife. but it's okay to actually flirt with women. And what do I mean by this? So let me get into my third point, and I'll start off with this. The third point is be sexual, okay? Be very sexual with your wife, and do it regularly. And this is outside, and this is how you flirt, and this is how you run game, is grab her ass. Grab your woman's ass, okay? Look into her eyes and don't say anything. Look into her eyes and think, I want to your brains out. Just do that, right? As much as you can, drop sexual innuendos. It's okay to do that, okay? Just be like, it could be literally anything. Learn to make your woman laugh. That'll work in your favor, okay? Do it sexually. And I'm trying to think of an example, but I grab my wife's ass all the time, okay? And when she works out, she works out from home. An example that I give is when she comes up and she's like sweaty, I go, I love it like that, girl. That's how I love it. Could be anything. When I give her a hug, my thing is I always just put my hands right down in her pants and I just grab her butt. And then we have this little game that we play where she gets all tense and I go, no, relax. I liked it relaxed. I like it relaxed. All right? Giving you free information here. Be sexual. Come up behind your girl when she's doing something. Kiss her on the neck. Grab her by the stomach. Verbally tell her, in the morning when before you go to work, you look at her in the eye, you give her a kiss, a sensual kiss, keep her close, okay? You go, when I get home later, baby, something's gonna happen. Let her know in advance that you're looking forward to having sex with her in the next 24, 48 hours. Let her know that. Tell her that. Say it's fine. Okay. And this will become easier for you to do if you're working out and she knows that other women want to fuck you, by the way. This will become easier. All right. You're setting the expectation. It's okay to set the expectation. Don't think your woman's ever going to come on to you. She's not. She doesn't want to come on to you. Okay. She wants you to do the work. And if she's pretending like, my wife gives me these shit tests all the time. She's like, oh, that's all you ever want is sex. I'm like, baby, I can't help it. I'm bloated with testosterone. Or, baby, I can't help it. You're super sexy. Stop being so sexy. What do you want me to tell you? Don't be around me naked. Just these little things. What are we on? 23 minutes. I was hoping this would be a shorter video, but it's not going to be a shorter video, obviously. Be sexual. Look her in the eye. It's okay to do it multiple times throughout the day. Okay, you should be a walking bag of testosterone. And your testosterone needs to be high. And if it's not high, you need to figure out how to get it high. You can buy supplements. You can. There's plenty of stuff online. Lots of coaches out there that will tell you how to get your testosterone levels high. Get it high. Okay, I'm 40 years old, and I'm ready to go at any point. And I've had to work at that. Okay, so the point of number 3 is when you're sexual and you're not getting this, and this is a big point here. We're 24 minutes in, and this is the big point of the video. When you're sexual all the time, okay, if let's say 2, 3, 4 days go by and you're not getting that sex, you withdraw that sexual tension that you give her, that she's pretending she doesn't like, but she loves. And you do it by not looking her in the eye. By the way, that's important. You have to look her in the eye and give her the I want to fuck you look. Often. Okay? And when you do, maybe grab her hips, pull her in close to you. Give her a kiss on the forehead if she doesn't want to kiss you in the mouth. Could be anything. All right? Now, this works because I know how to give my wife really good experiences in the bedroom, new experiences, and that's going to be very important. And that's for a whole nother video, is talking about, and this is where I would love to get with in the future about, with you guys, especially Christian men in marriages, how to give your woman a new experiences, and that's very important to do. And this makes me being sexual with her easier. Okay, so if you're not getting what you want in 2-3 days, 4, if you're hitting 5 days, man, bro, you got some red flags here. You're going to withdraw that attention. Okay, you're going to withdraw it. You're going to stop grabbing her ass. You're going to stop looking her in the eye, and you're going to fucking ignore her. Okay. And I've had to do this multiple times. I had to do this today, actually. I had to do this right before I did this stream, this video. Because, I'm not going to get much into it, but my wife had a day where she was in her head today, right? And I was patient with her all day, and, I got tired of it. And she knew that on Saturdays, we typically have sex, and we didn't have sex today. So I had to withdraw stuff, right? It happens. I had to withdraw. I had to withdraw that attention. And what did happen? At the end of the night, it was, I love you. I love you. And right before I had to kick her out of this fucking room, I said, I got to do a video. Get out of here. And I didn't give her the eye contact. And she missed it. She missed it. Okay. I'm telling you, these are things that you can do to help your marriage. And if you need to figure out how to learn how to do these are the things that I think this is why I'm creating this whole YouTube, is I want to help men achieve these things, especially in their marriages. And you can get there, even if you've never been the guy, the fuck boy, which I was the fuck boy for my wife. That's the frame I maintain. Okay. That's why it works. But, so that's it. Those are the 3 points. Okay. Point number 1 is either we smashing or I'm smashing, right? Point number 2 is you have to remain frame. Okay. You need to know that you have options. Otherwise, she's not going to know you have options. It's that simple. Go to the gym, work out. Third point is be sexual. Be sexual. Look her in the eye, deeply. It's okay to look at your wife and grab her ass and want to have sex with her, because that's what she wants. She wants that. Believe me. Okay. All right. So those are the 3 points. I'm going to keep this under 30 minutes. I can go on and on, but this is the first part of how to game your wife and get the sex you want, part 1. Deuces.